Well, hello, guys. We are going to get into our positivity movement. I know toxic positivity is scary, but we're going to get over the toxic positivity that surrounds us, and we're going to learn how to actually make some real effort and change in our lives because sometimes it takes us to do a little bit of shadow work. And accountability requires you to be honest and raw with yourself. So, not everything is love and light, guys. I know they all lied to you. It's okay. I'm here now. No, but for real, I'm holding these cards for a reason, and it's because we're confirming the energy. And the topic of today is attracting more positivity and detoxing negativity. These things go hand in hand, don't worry. It seems like a lot, but I promise you it's not. You just gotta come in with pure intentions. When you come in with pure intentions, your intention is to love and be unconditional and just kind of to each their own. Let people deal with their own ish and you deal with yours. That is like the most reflective aspect of true love. Real love is reflective. There's two of these guys here. They reflect each other. So important to understand the reflection part because when you understand that you're learning, you actually start to pick up a couple things. I promise. It's funny how it works. But the next card that we got was prudence because it does actually require us to be disciplined. I know that's what we're doing shadow work for. It sucks. But no, seriously, it requires us to be disciplined and it requires us to be accountable for ourselves, our actions, and our words. They must align. So being very accountable and just not cautious, not overly cautious, but cautious in your decision making because it's going to again require you to be more disciplined, make better decisions, smarter decisions, and sometimes we have to cut somebody's head off. In in cycles, in toxic situations, this has nothing to do with defense mode. This is about being accountable for yourself and prioritizing yourself. So you see, she got this weapon and this dude's head in her hand. This dude probably was giving her all sorts of hell. She cut his head off because we don't need that now. It does not serve our better purpose. It doesn't serve anything in our life, really. It's just a distraction. These things are 3D. They're pointless. They literally serve no value. Why would you want to fill your life with something that has no value when you could be creating value? Trust me, you don't. So, obviously, it can either seem difficult or really easy to do these things, to detox negative things and then to invite in positive things. But if you're kind of like a funky person, it's not the end of the world. If you've kind of come from a very traumatic background, if you've come from like a lot of like trauma history and just kind of negative, super negative pessimism, oh, the world's always out to get me, victim mindset, that sort of thing, I promise you, it may seem impossible, but you can heal from it. I promise. So, really, like, you have to make these identifiers, and that comes through with shadow work, because if you watched my last video, I'm sure you did because you love me, you would know that there. So, we either cut off negative situations by default or because we're actually really aware of the choices that we're making, and so we start to kind of recognize patterns and cycles, and they get communicated much easier when we start doing shadow work and start getting into some of the deeper stuff, the deeper elements, reflective work especially, because then you start to realize that every situationship, every situation that you've been put in, there's a learning opportunity. And it's not just about the learning opportunity, but it's also to kind of be able to have more opportunities and better experiences. So it's like almost like if you look at it as upgrading your life, upgrading your skill set, up like if you were in a video game, you wouldn't start with all of these skill sets unless you're just, modder and you're trash because nobody should game that way. I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, like if you play a video game, you don't start with any stats. You don't start with skills. You just start fresh and you work your way up and you develop skills. You develop new attack points. You develop more like combo moves, okay? Doing my best here. And we grow from these situations. And so if you don't look at it negatively as like, oh well, I'm just here to learn from this situation. This is a karmic situation. I don't want to deal with it. This is below me or whatever it is. Like if you come with that type of attitude and that type of negative pessimism, it's going to affect you even more. I know, it sounds crazy, but it will. It will affect you even more. So if you come through with a positive mindset, not even necessarily a positive mindset, just a neutral mindset that, hey, this is just happening. Yeah, maybe it sucks, but there's some things that I can learn from this, and there's some things that I can change after this, or through this, or whatever. And there's different paths, different routes that you can take, and your mind gets opened up to that when you start to realize that it's not necessarily like, the world crashing down on you because you did something wrong. It's not how it works. So when you want to start actually attracting positive things into your life, the law of attraction, it actually does require you to have a better mindset. And not in the sense that if you don't have a better mindset, you're not going to be gifted abundance. Like if you don't feel worthy, you're not going to be worthy. That's not the point. The point is to teach you that you are worthy and that you are capable and that you just need to put the skills and the effort to work and to actually be raw and accountable for yourself and not necessarily pass less judgment, but be raw and honest about your judgment because it will help you shape and mold the reality around you when you start to analyze it better and healthier. So, recognize when a situation is toxic so you can not avoid it but cut off its connection with you. Like, whatever it is, whether it be like your friends constantly trying to invite you to come out, party, whatever it is, like maybe like reflect on who you're hanging out with and see if you can change your circle around because some of those people might not be the same people when you guys aren't drinking or you weren't partying or whatever. Like people are different in different situations and it takes us to kind of just change our mindset to see the pattern and to see the cycle and then just kind of make a choice to just change. I know it's crazy, it's that simple. It really is, I promise. I do. I promise you. It's that simple. You just gotta make a different change. You gotta change your mind about something and try to look at it a little bit more openly. Like, things are always temporary. And I know that's either, I don't know, that's either like super awful to hear or it's like, oh yeah, cool. Things are temporary. But either way, like the thing is that things are temporary. This will pass. These situations will pass. But at obviously in the moment, in the emotion, that's not what our brain's going to pick up. That's not what we're going to think about. It's not the choice that we're going to make. Hopefully, maybe it will be. I ain't gonna shoot you down before you try. But the thing is to come through with like a realistic mindset and work on your triggers. Like this is actually said a lot, but you're recognizing and analyzing your triggers are what will actually motivate you to have less anxiety and to like approach situations better where it's not going to affect your mood and it's not going to affect your choices, but you're still going to be like participating in whatever it is, that it won't affect you the same way it did previously. Like when you start to see that, you know, you can kind of like, if somebody has repetitive patterns and they're constantly approaching you a certain way, they're like negative, pessimist, super negative to be around, lack of motivation, but you know they're your spouse or they're your best friend or there's somebody you really care about, but you don't want to lose that connection, but at the same time their negative pessimism is influential. Okay, let's be real, let's be honest. Being around it 24/7 can be draining. But we don't want to lose that connection, and it's totally natural. It's totally understandable to not want to lose that friendship, but not be completely connected with the friendship because of things that people are either not willing to work on, don't know that they need to work on, or it's just like it's not our job and our duty to change somebody else anyway. So if you can come in with an approach that, hey, I'm not going to let this affect my mood, but I'm going to come through and try to observe, not absorb, what they're trying to, tell me about a situation that happened to them or in between us, like whatever the situation is. Let's just try to do a scenario. So your friend is super negative, pessimistic, and there's this goal that they have to like set something up for a job opportunity, but they're super negative, and you just want to be there for them and support them and motivate them to do the right thing, which is focus on their goals. But at the same time, it's not our job to fix or heal or change anybody because that's just gonna bring us down a rabbit hole we don't need to get stuck under. But the thing is these type of situations and connections are almost designed by the universe specifically to be very reflective. So if you can understand that part, then you can realize that, maybe they have some reflective aspects of maybe perhaps not me, but something that is, I guess, hmm, maybe it's not completely reflectory of me, but it has some type of significance to something that I'm going through or something that I've experienced or I'm going to experience. So it's like it can kind of whisper you, whisper to you like, a way to kind of handle a future situation better. It's almost like time traveling. Just kidding. Seriously though, like you can, if you go through a similar situation in the past, and maybe you didn't approach it a certain way, and you can kind of hone back down to that situation and compare it to this one, then you can do some like reflectory work, and then you can handle whatever's currently going on. You can handle it better, so you don't have to deal with their negative pessimism, and you can kind of try to motivate them, but be like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna do my best to motivate you to do these things, but let's just focus on the choices that you do want to make. Maybe communicate that way, or let's see, maybe be there for them, but don't let it drain you. Like say the right things, but don't let it emotionally affect you. Like don't let their emotions project onto you, and don't let that sort of thing attach to you, because that's what happens. It's not necessarily like the negative pessimism itself, but like that negative energy will attach itself to you in a strange way, and it may not be the same thing like where you become negative pessimistic, but your like mood your mood will like go down a little bit and you just won't be as motivated as you were before. So just try to kind of like come in with like a neutral perspective so the negative energy that they are experiencing doesn't affect you. That was like my prime point. I know it took a little bit to get through, but no, you really, if you're wanting to be there for people, it's like that unconditional love thing. Like you can be there for them, but you can also be like just like maybe not at a distance, but like energetically at a distance. So you don't have to kind of like feel what they're feeling in order to be there for them. Like you don't have to experience their pain to be there for them. You know what I mean? Hope that makes sense. But yeah, so attracting positivity, it requires you to start analyzing these types of like negative attitudes and negative pessimism in other people, not just yourself. Because those things, when they are around you, they do affect your mood, they do affect your environment. So it's important to realize that. And if you are around those types of people constantly, you got crystals, you got your organite pyramids, and if you don't, you can order them on my website, spiritual.online, and you can just kind of like protect yourself from negative energy, and energetically, it won't attach itself to you because you will know that it's not your it's not your energy, it's not something that you have to deal with. So this is kind of like an energetic barrier. Like you know that that is their stuff that they are dealing with, and you can be there for them and maybe say some things to help them, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's like you are going over there to pick up their problems and prioritize them for them, because one, it's never going to sit right with them, it's never going to process, they're just going to end up going back through the same cycle. They got to learn the cycle themselves. So I'm just trying to dig that one in because we're not here to heal other people. Okay. So, detoxing the bad distractions. If you really, really want to get into a nice flow of positive abundance, you really got to start understanding that these bad energies, these negative energies, they can actually affect you on a daily basis. And you need to start realizing what it is specifically that you do need to detox, whether it be food, people, places, things. Like if you're spending too much time on your phone, start realizing that. Log your phone time. I think Facebook has like a little warning now. You can set yourself a daily reminder like, hey, I'm only going to look at this for 30 minutes today. That's not realistic, but you can get there. I promise. But like you really have to start setting aside your feelings and your emotions, your emotional attachments to whatever it is, and start realizing how they emotionally affect you. Like maybe you love COD. Maybe it's like your favorite game to play is Call of Duty. But it puts you in a negative mood and you end up throwing your controller across the room because it pisses you off. But you love that game. You see what I mean here? Like, we gotta start being real and we gotta start being honest with ourselves. Like, sometimes we gotta get off the video games. I know, trust me, why are we listening to some white girl on the internet talk about how I gotta quit playing video games? Look, bro, I used to play more than you. You can't really see it, but right there at the top of that corner is my silver Arkham Knight Edition PS4. I know it's on a shelf, but it's because it's got the blue light of death. I just had to put that out there. But I used to video game too, so relax. But seriously, whatever it is, like smoking, drinking, bad food, I'm very guilty of it, I know. Not the drinking and the smoking part, maybe. But, you gotta start realizing that too much of these things, even like innocent things, like too much of one thing can be bad. It really can. Like if you just ate carrots your entire life, I'm pretty sure your skin would start to turn orange. Or that comic strip was a lie. But it's just important to understand that too much of anything is bad for you. So try to like have these limitations and balance of energy. You will find the sweet spot for the balance of energy. Spend less time on your phone. Spend less time around negative people. Spend less time not drinking water. And just do things that are positive, like adjust your schedule, adjust your sleeping schedule, adjust your meals where you're really prepping them beforehand so you don't have this like collision of things to do at the end of the day. And just, organize yourself so it makes much more sense for you and you can prioritize like the things that you need to take care of and be smart and realistic about. And then you can have time for yourself to like heal and recharge. So, yeah. The more detoxing you do, the more positivity will be attracted to you. You just have to learn to accept the positivity and cut off the negativity. But once you start detoxing, the positivity will flow in. And when you start accepting the positivity, the detoxing will start commencing. So it's like vice versa, either way. But I definitely recommend that you should work on some stuff and then attract the positivity, or the same time, whatever, the same time. Just learn the detoxing and attracting positive vibes into your life, into your soul. They go hand in hand. Okay, that's all. That's all for the end of the day. Just grab hands. Okay, bye. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will have my website published again soon, I promise you. I will be doing tarot in my DMs for at least for a couple more weeks. But yeah, you can also catch me live on twitch.tv if you do want a reading. So I love you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video and you learned something about attracting positivity. Okay, bye.